To help you work with graphics, Premiere Pro also has an essential graphics panel. This includes several built-in templates as well as additional ones that you can purchase. Let me give you a quick overview. You can continue to work with your previous project, but I would suggest opening up 0901 so we're on the same page. Then, click the Graphics button to change your workspace. On the right, you'll see several different options available in the Essential Graphics panel. Also, in your sequence, click and choose Minimize All Tracks. And you can drag down to make a little bit more room in the graphics area for track V3. I'm going to unlock the graphic track here on V3 so there's a place to put the graphics. And now we can take a look at the Essential Graphics panel. Here, you'll find a collection of my templates as well as the ability to browse Adobe Stock. If you check the free box, you'll see a series of templates that are made free on Adobe Stock. These will vary from time to time, with some being free, coming in and out, and others that are always free. You can click through these to browse. You can also adjust the size of their thumbnails here if you'd like to get a good idea of what they look like. And if you find one that you think you like, just click on it. Clicking the Info button will take you to see more about the clip. If you give it a second, it will begin to load and play back. You could press the play button if you want to see that. It gives you an idea of what the clip is like. Let's go ahead and select this lower third here. I'm going to click the Info button to take a quick look. And then the play button. I like that. It animates on cleanly and then fades off. In order to install that, I just need to click this button here and it will pull it down into my library. This will sync it locally. Now you'll see the checkbox that it's installed. You can also right-click to choose Download. Now if you switch back to My Templates, you'll see it installed. Now what you can do is drag that into your timeline. Let's unlock this track here so we can move the clips up a bit. In this case, since we have B-roll that's going to cover the graphics, I'm going to select these and press the Option up arrow to move them to a higher track. Now what I can do is drag this in and place it, and you see it's added into our project. It takes a moment, but there it is, and we can modify this, and we'll cover that next. Once you've added a graphic to your project, it's pretty easy to work with it in order to customize it. All the essential controls are right inside of Premiere Pro. There's no need to go to After Effects. You can continue working with the previous project or open 0902. And now what I'm going to do is double-click to open this up. You'll see different components here. For example, there's the title text. There's the lower third text. And then the actual color bars. This makes it easy to change. For example, I can click here and assign a new color. And it updates. Let's select that text there. Let's click here, move this out of the way, and take the eyedropper tool. I can sample that blue. And it changes the color. So now, with this selected, we can modify the text. I see that it's automatically applied the correct styles. We'll just click right here, and I've switched over to social media here, and I'll copy his Twitter handle. And I paste. And I see that the name is added. Let's come down here and select the second block, double click, and I'll add his name and title in this case. Since this is meant to be a social media promo, putting his Twitter and social media handle a little larger makes sense. Let's play that back.
We're always with band. I never played solo. And then as I got older,
It animates on nicely. Let's nudge that down a little bit. Command right arrow. or Control right arrow.
And then as I got older,
And it animates
I
on
thought maybe a solo
during the
there
dissolve.
might be-
I'll go ahead and tighten that up a little bit. And you see that it will fade off
And so the last few years have been
just
headed
before
in
the
that
next
direction
transition. In fact, I'll overlap that a little bit.
for me. And so the last few years have been
I like
headed in
that.
that direction.
Now, let's go a little bit towards the end. I want to bring up an end credit. We'll go back to Browse, and I see this bright vlog. Let's go here, and we'll do a search. I see a few other options here, and I like this one, background vlog title. Let's download that. Now, if I go to My Templates, it should show up. I'll just search for vlog. And we can drag that in and place it over the end of the song. Let's drag that out so it's a little longer, and press play to preview it. Let's make a few changes though. This first template used a font called Tico. I want this to use the same, so I can select it, choose both of those, and come down here and change the font. And you see the two start to match. Now let's check our colors. Here's our yellow, and I'll click here and simply select the web color value just like you would in the color picker in Photoshop. Come down here, select it, grab these two layers, and we can change those to have the same color, and they now update. Let's go back and select that blue, same thing. I'll click, copy the web value, come on down and click, and we can adjust that. So you see that the same color controls you're used to in other Adobe applications easily come in. Let's look at that for a second and see some of the choices. I like what's happening. Just want to make that a little bigger. So we can easily adjust that and nudge it into place. Now, let's put the URL for his website. You see that it automatically adjusts. There we go. So now when we play that,
I appreciate that.
it comes in and easily animates on. And I think I just want to make a small change. Let's select that tagline there and switch that to a brighter white. And there's the update. If I want, I could easily adjust the size so it's more readable. And selecting each of these, it makes it super simple to tweak the graphics so they're clear and readable. So the same sort of controls you're used to, like the Adobe Character Panel, are right there and easy to modify. Let's take that back and watch
Down
again.
on my website, my show schedule. So please visit it and find out where I am and go buy my stuff on iTunes. I would really appreciate that.
Pretty cool. Since Premiere and Photoshop are both made by the same company, you'd expect good integration, and that's what's delivered. It's very easy to bring Photoshop files into Premiere with layers intact. Let's go over to our project panel here, and I'm going to choose File, Import. Now, I'll navigate to the Common Media folder and go to my Graphic Sources and into my Photoshop Files folder. Let's select albums.psd and choose Import. Now, I've got a few choices. I could bring this in as a single flattened file. Or I could choose which layers are merged together. Or bring it in as individual layers or even a sequence. Let's do that. Bring it in as a sequence and tell it to match the size of the document. And I'll choose OK. You see it's added into a new folder called Albums, and if I double-click, there's a sequence here. Now all the layers are intact. Let's make this a little bit longer. We'll take these all and select them and drag them out a bit to about 20 seconds. But what I want to do now is create a build. So I'll simply go forward 15 frames and drag these down. Let's go forward 15 frames, shift right arrow 3 times, grab these and move them down, and continue the process. This creates a ripple effect with about a half-second delay. Let's watch that now. I like that, a little build on. Now what we can do is apply a simple dissolve to each. Let's copy that transition, copy, paste. Now we have a nice slow build. I like that. It works quite well. This sequence is like a nested object in Photoshop. So now I can come back here to this end bit. Let's nudge this graphic up a layer by pressing Option up arrow. Now we can take that album sequence, I'll load that as a source, and I could patch that up to V3. Now what we can do is wait for this text to animate on, and now let's just edit that in by clicking the Overwrite button. Let's have a look.
Find out where I am and go buy my stuff on iTunes. I would really appreciate that.
And those build on nicely. Using the effect controls here though, I can nudge that up or down and even scale it just a little bit so it better matches the size of the other graphic. Let's have a look. That works out well. Now what we can do is easily adjust these. And what I want to put at the end is a slow fade to black. I'll choose to go and make a new piece of black video. We can drag that into our video sources folder to keep it organized. And I'm just going to add that up here on top. Now we'll put a gradual fade. And let's have a watch. We'll just drag that out a little bit, making that a slower fade of 2 seconds. And that feels good at the end. We can go ahead and trim that back a little bit, like so, and adjust the duration of the black video for the fade at the end of the video. All right, our graphics are complete. Let's move on to exporting.